The State of Rugby in New Zealand, an investigation into the issues facing the sport, a year out from the Rugby World Cup. Why do we love rugby?
I think it's just in our DNA. It's ingrained in our upbringing, our heritage. It's something we do well at and on the world stage, and so therefore it's worth pursuing.
Why do I love rugby? Because it brings out everything about you in terms of your personality, your character. It brings out the best in you, and it also brings out the worst in you as well. You know, I love it because it allows people from all races, from all backgrounds, from all beliefs and faiths and that to play a game that they mutually respect and they love it for what it represents.
And I think when people are young, you know, teenagers through into their early 20s, it's very, very important that they get involved in team sports, and rugby is a classic one because it's a hard working one. I remember in the third form at school, we were getting our jerseys handed out to us, and the rector was a tough old bugger. He'd been through the Depression, had been a prisoner of war in the Second World War, been a high-ranking officer, and he knew that he'd seen the hard edge of life, and there weren't too many of us who didn't suffer the wrath of his tongue or his stick. And I tell you what, the stick across the backside at 2 o'clock in the morning outside the senior housemaster's office for talking after lights out wasn't something that you really looked forward to. I don't think he would have got on too well with Sue Bradford. So, I mean, and I remember him saying to us, he could judge a boy's character by the way he played rugby football. And that didn't mean a thing to me as a third form. But as I got older and came home and grew up and started playing, that sort of comment, you know, I got to know the guys I played with. When the going got tough, the fellas that really got into it and churned it out, you know, generally they did pretty well in life. Conversely, the ones that skipped round the edge, missed the tackle, didn't quite get the high ball, some of those weren't quite so successful in life. So he was right, it's a character building game.
I still, every Saturday, I live for every Saturday really. I wake up and, you know, what game's on after 50 odd years in the game.
It's just too much a part of our makeup. It's part of the land now, and therefore it seeps into our blood. And, you know, I sometimes worry when I hear people decry that rugby is our national sport. But the thing is, it's an awesome game, and to be the best in the world at it is not a bad thing.
You've got consenting people who want to be out there, encourage all these core values, like we say, about courage, strength, agility, elusiveness, strategizing, these self-reliance, courage. Courage is a really big one, because few games in rugby really test your courage. If you're not as big as a guy running at you, you've got to work out, am I ballsy enough to get in and knock this guy down? Have I got what it takes to do it? And that is the essence of rugby. It's about asking yourself, can I do this? Because it's scary, but at the end of it, it's exhilarating because you feel the fear.
It's the interaction between father, son and the rest of the community. That's what sport is all about.
Great love of your life is the rugby. Never know what to do when the summertime comes.
You know, because it is such a physical sport, you learn how to deal with pain. Deal with physical pain and deal with mental anguish about, when losing, particularly, about injuries, about not being selected for teams. So many things you actually learn to deal with that rugby teaches you.
Genuinely, in our day, probably was a game for all shapes and sizes. I mean, the beauty was that you could be a skinny rake like me, but you had to survive by your speed or by your elusiveness or your agility. And the fear was that if you actually did get caught by somebody quite big, he was going to snap you in two. And it was a test of your courage, it was a test of your ingenuity, it was a test of all these factors that went on. People that go on the field want that. That's the very essence of rugby.
We've got this bead threading, tree hugging, hamby-pamby, politically correct sort of stuff, which sometimes rugby could be, you could actually observe things that don't fit into society the way we want it, which I think is a shame, because I think it's a great flagship for, it's a great thing for young men in New Zealand. We've got this culture where You know, we need to let off steam, and it's an opportunity to let off steam in a controlled environment, and you know, it's a character building thing. It's a team game.
Like, I remember playing at intermediate, and it was just the fact that boys that you wouldn't talk to normally, that were in different classes, that were possibly different cultures, that you normally had nothing in common with, you were suddenly now in the same group with the same common purpose, and you all had to work in concert to achieve a common aim. And that is really, I think, what the buzz was, you know, for those players that dreamed of sporting greatness, but just got to express it at school, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that.
You know, and I think that young fellas need a good, tough, hard physical game there to get the testosterone out there, you know. That's what they need. It's a huge developmental thing. Physical content.
People have the capacity to, you know, really tackle people into the dust. And then at the end of the game, you all shake hands. And you go off and you socialise together, you break bread together, you have a drink together, and you put your arm around your opponent. And I don't think there's many sports throughout the world that actually do that.